This is Say It Louder, episode 8. Welcome back to the place for discourse. We're going to get right into the content. The other day, I made a video talking about Anthony Edwards and his entire situation. So he had a baby mom. She tried to go to California, get some more money. The judge said, hey, I'm not dealing with your situation. I don't have no jurisdiction to rule over the family court situation. Go handle it in Georgia. So they go back to Georgia, and what was being reported and what's come out since is that Anthony Edwards is asking to pay all of the money up front, $1,080,000 for child support, which is $5,000 a month over 18 years. He said, let me pay it all up front. I said it was messed up. It's messed up because the kid is not going to have a father. Regardless of the situation with the mom, at the end of the day, he decided to have the kid by not wearing protection, going out there and sleeping with this woman when he knows she has a past. I think she has a baby with Lil Baby. He knows she has a past of dealing with athletes or entertainers. And regardless of all of that, he decided not to wear a condom, started to have a baby with her. And the person that has to lose out in the situation is the kid.
Like you said, she has a baby with Lil Baby. And I actually saw a video today that she was clowning other women for not having rich baby daddies.
She definitely did say that.
So you know what you came for. You came for it might be less than what you thought, or not the same agreement that you thought, but he didn't get the agreement that he bargained for either.
No, he got the agreement he bargained for.
No.
He went in there. He went in there raw.
I disagree.
Hey, look, he knows he knew all about her past, man. He may not have wanted to have the baby, but you shouldn't have been having sex with her raw. That's my opinion. So the baby's here, and the person that lose out in the situation is the kid.
I do think that's wrong, but we're not them. Maybe they had the conversation like, hey, this is what's going to settle it. I'm not going to be in this child's life, but I'll give you $1 million.
Hey, the court settled it.
The court did settle it.
He said, hey, let me sign over these parental rights. Let me give her the money up front. I never had to see her. I never had to talk to her. I just wipe my hands clean with it.
So if we're playing by the law, is he really wrong?
If we playing by the law, no. But if we're playing by people with upstanding moral character, then that's kind of messed up. I see the situation where you don't want to deal with the lady. She's a bird, but you knew she was a bird going into the situation.
Worse than a bird, a pigeon.
But, I feel like if you do that, then you have to kind of bite the bullet on the situation. Maybe you don't have to deal with her directly. You have a third party that is in between yourself and the baby mom. I don't know. I've been married 3.5 years. I don't have this type of situation. But I feel like maybe you have somebody that's a mediator between the baby mom and and the kid. I'm sorry, my bad. Maybe you have a mediator between the baby mom and yourself so that you can deal with the kid. But he said, I don't even want to deal with the kid. I just want to pay my money. And I think it's a bad precedent. So are we saying that if you have the money, you can just go around, have kids, and abandon them? You don't have to take care of them at all? Just pay all the money up front? And are we holding people accountable for their decisions or not?
That's the example that's been set for him. Someone just did it right before.
Who did it?
Lil Baby. You think he's how active is he in that child's life?
Say it one time.
How active is Lil Baby in the other child's life, in his child's life?
I don't know how active he is, but at least he's paying. There's some opportunity for him to come back into that kid's life. Right?
That's the game. He just innovated it. This love is ahead of the curve.
He might be. He might be ahead of the curve, but I think it's at the end of the day
a terrible curve.
Yeah. It's a terrible precedent to set where you could just pay the money. You go do whatever you want to do with the woman. You go pay the money, and then the kid suffers on the back end. Because 15 years from now, 18 years from now, she's going to say, yo, where's my dad? Then her mom has to look her in the eyes and be like, yo, he abandoned you because neither one of us wanted to be together.
And I tricked him into having a baby.
She tricked him into having a baby, for sure. Okay. She definitely, I'm not saying that she didn't trick him.
Go ahead and say the whole thing, though. If you're going to tell the truth, tell the whole truth.
She is a we already said she was a pigeon. So, that's already been stated. We know why she was there. Regardless of what she said, she wasn't there for the money. She just didn't want to get rid of the kid. She didn't want to get rid of the kid because she wanted to have something to trap the dude by.
Hey, we on the screen. Can we pull up what this lady look like real quick? I just want to see what she look like. 1 second. I don't
Let me.
even know what she look like.
I'm gonna pull her up for the audience too.
What's this?
Hold up.
The 2014 baby?
2014.
Yeah, he got 4 kids. I'm not gonna lie.
No, this is the 2024 baby.
I said 2014.
Yeah, this is 20.
Yeah, you can't put that in there.
This is the 2024 baby. I don't even know if I could put none of her pictures in there. This lady, she all she do is show clean. Okay, we got one right here. I'm gonna bring this up for the audience too.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring this up for them. So this is her, Aisha Howard. You knew what the deal was with her before you got into the situation, and you still wouldn't do it anyway. Same time.
What the headline say?
Headline say, NBA star Anthony Edwards takes little baby's ex Aisha Howard to court over paternity testing and child support. It's both of their baby mom.
Yeah.
I don't think they were ever dating though. I think that he just had a kid with her. I don't think they were actually dating and together. Like, if Lil Baby was with her, I don't think that
Why would you want to have a baby with me if we're just having sex? We're not in no type of relationship. Isn't
because
this
she
like
want
a
the
mental,
money.
This is a mental disorder. You're crazy. You're insane. You are not logical at all. You want to have a baby with someone that's telling you no. If this the girlfriend that text, he telling you, send the photo, take the pill.
Yeah.
And if this one after her, you already know what's going on. I mean, wouldn't do nothing like this, but you know the type of this is. So why are you playing?
Yeah, that's for sure. He got 3 before her, and then she come and want to be the 4th. Or if she want to have the 4th.
If you could have 4 baby mamas, you need to be selling houses. Ain't that what Instagram said? You need to be selling houses.
If you could convince a woman to be your 4th baby mom, then you need to get into real estate.
Nah, for real. You could sell anything.
But the only reason he's able to do it is because
if you the 4th baby mother.
Only reason he able to do it, not the only reason. This dude's with regular jobs, 9 to 5s, in the same type of situation. They just not being able to pay the meal up front for to stay out of the kid's life. But you know, it's their situation. They got to go through it.
Hey, look, nah, never mind.
Nah, say what you about to say.
I know some that didn't pay $1 million and still never seen that kid.
See, that's what I'm saying.
This shit fucked up.
He did give them money, but money isn't the only thing that's important.
What did he do? Is this like 50-50? Did he do 50% of his job? 30%?
Nah, we don't. 50 is still an F. 50 is still an F. We got to get to like the 80, 90%.
All right.
You know, but it's their situation. They apparently it's good for her. She want the money. It seems like she's going to be okay with giving up his parental rights. He's obviously okay with it. So it's their life. They get to choose what's going on there. So
I don't even know if the world should hear my thoughts.
Say it.
Nah.
They can't even see.
Man, she gotta eat this shit. She gotta just go ahead and take her meal thing and get on. She knew what she came for, man.
I mean, she got it. She got a meal.
I hope one day, that's just what he's saying, that he don't want to see that kid. I hope he actually is in that kid's life, because that is up.
No, he's not going to be in the kid's life. That's the whole thing. He said up front, get rid of the baby. And then he came back and was like, I don't want nothing to do with it. Yeah. So, like I said, the kid is the person that suffers. The kid is the person that yeah. Everybody here is a loser. Anthony Edwards is a loser. She's a loser.
Yeah, he is a loser. So that's also not up for debate. He's definitely a loser.
Yeah, they're talking to the mic.
He's definitely a loser, for sure.
All right, we're going to move on from Anthony Edwards. We're not going to. We've been talking about him for 10 minutes. I don't think we could add no more to that conversation.
Wait, hold up. One thing I want to say: that is a loser. Amazing basketball player, for sure.
Amazing basketball player, but that doesn't absolve you from being
a loser.
Yeah. All right, so I want to talk about this guy that was in Maryland, got apprehended by ICE and shipped to the prison over in El Salvador, the Supermax prison over in El Salvador, which President Bukele down in El Salvador, he built for all the gang members or the cartels, anybody that seemed to have tattoos or affiliations. They built a prison down there, and there's a deal with the U.S. to take people from here that seem to have an affiliation, seem to be gang members, seem to be cartel members, and ship them to El Salvador to be housed in this prison, and the U.S. is giving them some money to do so. So there's a guy from Maryland. He's down there, and the U.S. is saying, "Hey, it was an accident. You know, he wasn't a gang member like we thought he was, but we can't get him back. It's too late. There's nothing we can do." We talk a lot about people coming into this country illegally, and if you've been around the channel, you know, and if you haven't been around the channel, subscribe and join the conversation. If you've been around the channel, you know that I've said I don't have a problem with people that come here illegally, especially people that do crime, being sent back to their originating location, right? I don't necessarily agree with them being shipped to the Supermax prison. They need to be shipped to their origin country. But this guy's being shipped down there, and the U.S. is like, hey, there's nothing we can do about it, you know, and they make these types of mistakes when they're rushing. We already seen like with Elon Musk and Doge, where they're rushing to do things, and haste makes waste, right? So this guy's stuck down there with no affiliation. He had an accusation in 2019, and then his family can't get him back. They're saying there's nothing we can do. And does that mean he has to live out the rest of his days in the Supermax prison where people are being grabbed by the back of their neck like pit bulls? I don't know.
I think, for one, pull up the picture. Drop the picture of these niggas in the Supermax. They crazy.
It is definitely crazy. It is definitely crazy. I don't wish that on nobody. I'm not gonna say you should ever join the gang, but this ain't worth it.
From this shit, advice: if you is in the gang, nigga, you need to keep that shit a secret, please.
Yeah, they got this dude by the back of his neck.
They got these niggas really like.
This is crazy. Hold up, let me see the picture.
You gotta start saying the pit bull joke, man. This shit is disgusting. How they doing these people? It's really like animals, though.
No, it is. It definitely is. I think when they're transporting them from one place to another, they make them like look at the ground. Because I've seen plenty of videos where they're running across the prison, and they're kind of like ducked down, just like this. It's not necessarily every time somebody's grabbing them on the neck, but this is pretty much how they live. And then they're housed in like a huge facility where basically they're right on top of each other. It's crazy. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, man. And now this guy has nothing to do.
Wish that. I definitely would wish that on my worst enemy.
Look at how they had these dudes.
The only people that deserve to be in here is if you killing kids and innocent people and chopping up. You definitely deserve to be in here. But
other than that, you got a guy that has nothing to do with nothing. He had an accusation that he was in a gang in MS-13 back in 2019, and he was only accused of it. He wasn't even convicted. But somehow it was a clerical error. They arrested him. ICE arrested him and then shipped him over to this prison. And this is how he's going to live for the rest of his days? Nah, that's not right.
They shipped him. Where did they arrest him first? They arrested him here in Maryland.
I'm a little confused about it because they say he's from here, but I think I read that he got arrested in Texas.
If anyone has any further information, please comment down below.
Yeah.
I would like to know more about this.
Yeah, I think he got arrested in Texas, but they said he's from here. His family's from here. I'm not sure what he was doing down in Texas, right? I'm not going to pass judgment on his situation. Hopefully his lawyers and his family, they can get him back. I don't know if they started the GoFundMe, but somebody needs to do something. If we're going to say we're going to make America great, we're going to get people out, we have to get the right people the first time. We can't accidentally send people to this prison in El Salvador, send people to Guantanamo Bay, and then turn around and be like, oops, my bad. We'll get them next time. No, you have to make it right the first time. And it's making me a little shaky about the people that they are arresting. Because they said, I think at this point, they said they've rounded people up and captured them. At this point, they've captured tens of thousands of people.
Captured as a term for humans is very demeaning.
Yeah,
I can't believe that they even,
but that's what they're doing, man. They rounding people up.
They're definitely capturing people. But
look, if you're an actual gang member, you've been chopping up body parts and you've been chopping people's heads off, then I have no sympathy for you. But we have to actually prove that those are the facts. We can't just put somebody in a prison on accusations. Well, that's what they do anyway. They put you in jail until your trial sometimes, but not that prison. Definitely not that prison, because you might not ever make it home.
He might be a fake MS-13 member, and now he done got killed or beat up in there. It don't even look like they could beat each other up.
They can't. They are watched 24/7.
Yeah, you can't even do nothing.
There's there's no space for rival gangs to be competing and plotting. Everybody is housed in a big old cell.
Don't go to jail.
That joint look
This
like
is gay.
yeah, yeah. Hell no.
They
I'm good.
nut to butt to head.
I'm gonna pass on that one.
I'm not putting my forehead on nobody back.
Their
I don't want to
bunks-
do that.
Their bunks in that joint are stacked up like how they were on
ships.
on ships. Yeah,
Oh my god.
they look like Squid Game in this joint. Hold on, I'm gonna bring it up one more time.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna bring it up one more time. They
Yeah,
stacked in this joint like Squid Game.
They not even. Oh yeah, they def.
That's crazy. It's like 4 people per bunk per level.
Yep. This a team deathmatch right here.
Yeah, it is.
Let one of them gates open, and
Yeah,
they take it.
it would be over. Imagine the damage that they could do to all of the prison guards too if they were actually unsupervised and left out.
One day.
I said left out like they're animals.
Yeah.
They cage like animals, but they're not animals.
Yeah. Definitely people. Even though some people can do horrible, disgusting things, this is
They still
inhumane.
people. Yeah. All right. Last thing we're going to talk about is the situation down in Texas. Coincidentally, we're talking about Texas again, which is where the guy got grabbed from, I think. They had a stabbing of a 17-year-old named, I think his name was Austin Metcalf. The situation doesn't seem like it's exactly what's being reported. They said he walked up to a guy that was from a rival school. He said, "Hey, you're in my team's tent. You should leave. You know, these are our seats." And the guy stabbed him. That's how it's being reported. And then as we learn more about the situation, and we'll continue to learn about the situation as it progresses, but as we learn more about the situation, they said, oh, well, there was a bit of an argument back and forth. He was arguing with the twin brother, and then he started arguing with Austin, and then Austin got aggressive with him, asking him to leave. Then he stabbed him. So as we're learning about the situation, the story is kind of changing, and we expect that. Of course, the first to the media is going to get their narrative out, and the first to the media was the family of the victim. Where it's at right now, people are trying to make this about race. They're trying to make it a situation where a black guy stabbed a white guy because of race. The aggressive black guy is one narrative, and then the aggressive white guy that's being racist is the other narrative. And I don't think that it's either of these. I think that it's rival schools. A kid sees somebody in the tent. He's like, hey, you need to leave. The kid's like poking his chest out. He's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. The situation escalates, however it escalated, whether it started physical or verbal, whatever the situation initially started, it escalated to the point where somebody gets stabbed, they die, and then you have another kid that's arrested. Both of these kids were scholars and athletes at their school. The victim was a 4.0 student. I think he played football. And the perpetrator was a 3.7 GPA student that had D3 offers, and he played the sport, either track or football. So both of these guys were athletes. Both of these guys were scholars. What was the catalyst for their argument? I don't know. What do you think about the situation? Based on what you know and based on what I've said so far.
Just based on what I was hearing, I don't know how old they were, but I know they was in high school.
17.
17? They were both 17?
One was a senior, one was a junior. So
Okay.
16, 17, around there.
I think probably what you said happened. Just two young men, too much testosterone poking their chest out. And unfortunately, somebody ended up dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, that was a child, man, and he had a long life ahead of him. I don't wish death on anyone's child, but yeah, that's what the situation came to. As a young black man myself, I would say I want to make it home every night.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I suggest you just keep your hands to yourself. If we can't figure this out as two,
Verbally.
verbally, as two like-minded people, if we can't figure this out, I think that you should just go on about your day, and I'll go on about mine, and we should just not make this physical.
So there's one thing where people are saying, oh, well, he was in a rival school's tent and he shouldn't have been in there. But if when you go to these sports events, you may know people at the other school. You may end up in another school's space.
You're a
There's nothing.
teenager. You mingle. That's
Yeah.
what you do. You're 17 years old. Of course, you're gonna be curious and want to talk.
And the victim, unfortunately, I'm not victim blaming. I'm not intending to victim blame, but he has no authority to tell somebody you can or you can't be in this tent, right?
He's 17 years old. Who told him to tell him that?
Yeah. If anybody should have been taking care of it, if there was any actual issue with the kid being in the tent, it should have been a coach or an administrator because they're at these events, right? It's a track meet. It's not like they're just hanging out unsupervised at the event. There's coaches there. There's faculty there. Somebody there may have even been security there. Somebody could have intervened and said, this space is for this school. If you're not going to this school, you need to leave. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. It doesn't seem like there was an actual issue to me at this point with the facts that we have. It seems like he just wanted to get the kid out of the space. And what's also being reported, there's two things some additional context for you guys. It's also being reported that the victim and his twin are known for bullying people, and they were trying to bully Carmelo Anthony, who is the perpetrator. They're trying to bully him, and it ended up going sideways. They broke his phone. They were trying to push him out, and he got aggressive as well. He returned fire. It just heated up and got out of control. And what I saw on Twitter earlier was a toxicology report or an autopsy, and they said that the victim also had MDMA in his system. That's what I saw. I don't know if it's true. Of course, everything is going to come out when they actually go to trial.
MDMA?
Ecstasy.
Yeah, MDMA.
Yeah, MDMA. Is that not what I said?
You said AMDMA.
Oh, man. I'm tripping. But he had MDMA in his system. And, when these types of situations do happen, of course, everybody is going to take the side of not everybody, but people that are on opposite sides are going to take the side of their race, right? But like I said, I don't think it's a racial thing. I think it's just high school students having a disagreement, having a rivalry, a school rivalry. And it happened to be a black guy and it happened to be a white guy.
This is a 17-year-old kid. I hope the system doesn't ruin his life. This is a mistake that he's gonna have to live with, not just by what the circumstances of the judicial system bring upon him, but he's gonna have to face that he had to take someone's life when he was 17 years old.
Yeah.
If it came down to that, if he indeed had to do that.
Those mental scars aren't just going to go away, regardless of if he did it intentionally or the situation escalated to that. He does have to live with that for a long time. But another thing that I find interesting in these types of situations is parents always say, or people that are close to either the victim or the perpetrator always say, oh, they would never do that. Well, I'm sure that his parents didn't know that he was doing ecstasy. I'm sure that the other kid's parents didn't know that he was hiding a knife in his bag.
If indeed he was doing ecstasy, we don't know for sure if he was doing ecstasy.
Yeah, if what's alleged that he was on ecstasy is factual, I'm sure that the parent didn't know that he was doing that, and I'm sure that the other parent didn't know that their kid was going to the track meet with a knife in his bag. Right? It's not illegal to carry a knife or anything, but
it is on school property.
It is on school property. Yeah, that's a fact. So
I know that.
We're not going to get into that. No, hell no.
You funny as hell.
But parents always think that like, oh, my kid wouldn't do that. Your kid would do that. They did do that. You know what I'm saying? That does happen. But, this situation, once again, it was two high school students. One of them ended up getting stabbed. The other one said that he wasn't the aggressor. And right now he's being held on $1 million bail down in Texas. This is Say It Louder. This is episode 8. I appreciate you guys for being here. If you like this video, like the video. Subscribe to me back here for the next conversation. And if you have any thoughts, leave them down in the comments. Till next time.
Peace.